The bongos. Look how happy he looks. He's even got a big old grin on his face. Good day there once again, viewers. This is your mate Kamikaze78 here, coming to you guys with some more Planet Zoo content. And today, guys, we're not doing a speed build, if you will. We're actually going to attempt my first ever Let's Play here on the channel. We're going to do a Planet Zoo Let's Play. Now, this is going to be something a bit new for me, so I appreciate any patience you guys can throw my way as we give this a go. But to be honest, guys, the bushfires that are ravaging Australia right now are a little bit close to home, closer than I'd like for them to be. I'm not in any immediate danger, if you will, right now, but I wanted to get my mind off things by relaxing, playing some Planet Zoo, and I figured, you know what, let's make a new video series out of it. So, yeah, welcome to my franchise mode Let's Play of Planet Zoo. Now, first thing we're going to do here in this video is just lay out our initial path design and essentially, get our plaza set up. I am going to time-lapse this part of the video only because we all know that pathing in this game is not what I would call the most entertaining thing to watch in the world. So I figured, you know, let's just quickly do a time-lapse and we'll get this show on the road. So let's get our path laid out. And guys, just while I've got this clip running here, I just wanted to quickly say a big thank you to everyone who reached out with a lot of support over the last few days. The last thing you guys have all heard from me is that we were discussing bushfire survival plans in my household. A quick update, everything is fine right now. There are still fires in my region that we are keeping a very close eye on because they are a little bit closer than we'd like to admit them. But right now, things are just very smoky. There's nothing really to be too concerned about right now. We've just got to be on high alert and make sure that if something were to happen, then we have a place to go and we have everything that we need to survive, essentially. A huge shout out has to go out to all of the firefighters, both the volunteers and the non-volunteers who are out there battling these blazes right now. You guys are the true heroes. I've always said it, that real heroes wear yellow and they, you know, are equipped with a fire hose. So these guys are absolute legends, and if you have a spare penny, guys, a donation to the RFS would be greatly appreciated. I will leave a link to a donation source in the description down below that you guys can go and support the RFS through. But a lot of you have been checking in on me and making sure that I am safe and I am well, so I've got to thank each and every one of you for that. I really do appreciate it, guys, and you will continue to get updates from me as the situation evolves. But right now, I'm happy, I'm safe, and I just want to keep making videos and doing stuff for you guys while I can. So again, I thank each and every one of you for your support during this time. But enough mumbo jumbo, let's just get back straight into the video itself. Alright, so here we are. I've set up our initial sort of area, if you will. Made it so that we now have ourselves our staff zone. Now, I do like putting the staff zone. This is something I've learnt from gameplay time and from just, you know, watching other content creators play this thing. I've learnt that, you know, putting your staff area in the center of like the center hub of your zoo, it just helps to consolidate where they've got to go and stuff like that. Like, if I've got an exhibit here, and here, and also at the back here potentially as well, then the staff can easily access all of that from this one hub, if you will. And it just helps to consolidate their movement time and their walking time, and just makes the experience a little bit easier for them. So that's something I've learned over time. Now, I know a lot of people absolutely loathe putting stalls in the early part of their game. Like a lot of people say, no, you should be focusing on building habitats and getting enclosures in and stuff like that. I don't see such a huge problem with, you know, putting just a couple of shops in, if you will, just to help supplement your income at the start of the game. I don't find it to be that big a problem. We still have about $11,000 here to work with. which in my experience is more than enough to at least get you off the ground and get you started, especially if you have your zoo paused the entire time that you're, you know, working on this, you know, initial little spot, if you will. So, yeah, I figured we'd, let's have a look at what animals we can run with for our first. We need something easy, something that's going to be nice and easy, something that doesn't require a huge habitat as well, something that's going to be, you know, not a huge cost, if you will, to what we're doing. Or maybe we can go for like an okapi maybe, or a bongo. Bongos are pretty easy. And they're, you know, they're nothing too crazy. They're fairly simple to, you know, start a zoo with, if you will. He's got a long longevity gene. She's got long longevity genes. In fact, the only males here are only available for conservation credits. I can afford him, but only just. His size and his longevity is pretty average, but, you know, I can't really be a picky, choosy individual this time. Maybe we should run... Let's go... Okay, we're going to go for this bongo, because he's actually got... He's only 1.9 years old, so that's fine. We're going to adopt him. And we're going to adopt... We'll adopt this lovely lass here as well, which means we need to start building up our first habitat. Now, I don't know. We're going to go for a fairly modern looking zoo, like a city zoo, if you will. And I don't know what... I love the wood logs, but I don't know if they're going to fit with the theme that we're going for here, you know? I might stick with the brick. Brick is always a fairly safe option to go down. So what I'm going to do is we're going to run that there. I'm going to put on an angle snap, which has been done for us already. We're just going to go bam, bam. That's pretty much dead center on with the path. Fantastic. That's probably a bit too big. These bongos do not require a lot of space at all. I'd say we'd have to go maybe there. Just make this curved at the back here for them. Now I know bongos are fairly shy. So what I'm going to do for our little bongo friends is I'm going to run a slight indent out the back here. We'll switch it to about 30 degrees in rotation. Like that. But this is probably even a bit too big for our bongos, but you know, I'm all for, you know, giving them a nice little hidey hole, if you will. I'm just going to go straight line, connect it up. There we go. Alright, that doesn't look too bad at all. We're going to quickly edit the barrier, and I'm going to move it back a little bit, because what I also like to do with my viewing areas, guys, is have it so that the actual exhibit isn't like backing off of the main pathway, because in doing that, I find that you always run into issues with path congestion. Like your guests will always find themselves backing onto one path and like not really sticking. Like they're not they'd clog up this main traffic way, which, you know, in turn makes physics a bit of a bitch when it comes to guests trying to get to and fro places. So yeah, I find this to be a fairly suitable way to, you know, avoid that from happening. Now I know these bongos are shy, so we're going to give fairly limited viewing platforms here. We're going to do that, do that, do that. That's perfect. So we're going to make that and make this glass. We'll make this glass. Make this glass. Now what I like to do as well is I like to have these little indents in my walls here so that you can put the information boards there. I find that to be a nice little thing to do, just to spice up the exhibit and, you know, make it look as though the information panel is actually part of the exhibit itself. And when you start getting the new building materials in the game, you can even get things that outline said exhibits or said information boards quite nicely. You can use the rustic path here for the edging like so of the exhibits. I think that looks quite nice. Ooh, 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 ooh! I'm liking how this is turning out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a bit of a stickler for, you know, a bit of aesthetic. It's the design student in me. It just is. Boom, boom. There we go. The path system in the game can use a bit of work. I think just to get the hang of it, you just need to practice with it and sort of like learn how it works. And just, you know, just continue to work with it and see how you can manipulate it to be on your good side, you know. Alright, I think that's some good framework there. I just need to quickly look at expanding this out a little bit more so we can get our habitat gate in here. So if we go barriers, habitat gate, we don't need a water one, we'll go for a straight up. How big is this habitat? Because they only need about 300 meters squared, I think. 700 meters squared, so double what they need, but that gives them enough room to hide from guests if they feel a bit stressed, which is amazing. Exactly what we want. So let's go ahead and do that, that, and that. Fantastic. Okay, let's get some bongos into the place. We also need to hire our staff and set up our work zone, but we can do that in just a jiffy. Let's go. We need a keeper. We're going to need... Yeah, we'll also need a keeper. We'll get a mechanic. And we'll get 2 caretakers. Oh, and a vet. We need a vet as well. So this is a fairly expensive investment here, guys. And you can see we're down to 10 grand already. But we should have a solid amount of overturn here. New work zone. And they're all going to go into this one, which I'm going to call entrance zone. Because this is all part of the big entrance. And the habitat itself, I'm going to name bongos. Because that's what we're doing. Bongos. Fantastic. Alright then. Let's see what we can come up with here in regards to a little habitat for him. I'm going to put this into a time lapse as well, guys. So bear with me while I quickly get our bongo habitat all well and good to go. Alrighty, so that's the bongo habitat done, essentially, and I am very happy with that. That looks really, really nice. Nice sort of first design, and as we have just finished the first habitat, our guests are making an appearance now. We got our first line of guests coming in, which is amazing. So, what we'll do is we'll just quickly get some information and some donation stuff up, because, as we all know, guests and their donations are definitely what would be considered the main source of income for this game. So we're going to quickly get 2 donation boxes up. We're also going to get ourselves some information panels up here as well. Let's go. Where is it? Viewing devices. Here we are. And I'm gonna. This is essentially what I was telling you guys about earlier. We're gonna put it right there, and we're also gonna have one right here as well. So as you can see, it's nice. It's sort of on the brick wall, which you know, gives it an idea that it's really just attached to the habitat. We're gonna need to go bongo, bongo. And we need to put in some speakers to make sure that the education, or the edumacation, as they say, is as high as it possibly can be. Bongo, make sure that we've got a good range on that as well. Thankfully, because we are operating on different sides of the exhibit, we can have a bit of overlap in the exhibit as well, in the exhibit itself when it comes to the speaker range, and it's actually not going to cause any issues for guests. So that's certainly a very decent way to go, I've discovered. It's just you know, having that slight overlap, but if it's inside the actual habitat, it's not the end of the world. And as you can see, with those shops, we do have some people getting in there, making some purchases straight away, which is helping to just supplement the income of the zoo, just that little bit. As you can see, right now, $129 in shop income straight off the bat. A lot of ongoing a lot of purchases here, but the ongoing expenses is actually not that large. Now, the next thing we need to do is quickly get some research going for our staff. So we need to get the Bongo research going. And the thing I'm going to get the mechanic going is the New World thing. Now, that may seem a bit superfluous. We've just started out the zoo. Why the hell are we spending so much time looking at a new bloody theme for the place? Well, look, guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm a stickler for that New World theme. I love the way it looks. I love the way it operates. And I just love how it, I love what you can do with it in regards to zoo aesthetics, and I'm definitely going to be using it here as our entranceway here in the zoo once we get that going. So, yeah, excuse me while we do some research here for that New World Zoo theme, but I promise you it will pay off in the end when we start getting some new stuff to put around the place. But what we should also look at doing here is prettying up our front porch here. Because obviously I don't want to do any building work until we get that New World Zoo theme, and I don't think it's going to happen in this video. So we may as well just spend some time getting the front area looking as good as it possibly can, and yeah, just prettying the joint up a bit. So I'm going to get that done quickly and just get started there. One thing that people will always tell you who play this game is that rock work in this game, especially whenever I talk about it in my streams in particular. A lot of people say that the rock work in this game is the most tedious part of the game, and that is certainly the truth here for sure. Gonna sort of, try and enforce a bit of a theme here, considering that these are tropical animals, the bongos. I'm gonna try and just, invite a bit more of a tropical theme here on the entrance, sort of, transition a little bit from the more standard, temperate theme that we're going to have running throughout the zoo. And we're starting to see a positive cash flow come in, which is amazing, despite my horrific spending habits. But, hey, don't tell the missus Cammy that. Oh, dearie me. She doesn't watch these videos anyway, so it's fine, it's fine. As you continue to, experiment with the different plants in the game, because the plant life in this game, it's got a good selection overall, but it's nowhere near where I'd like it to be. I wish there was more plant life options at the end of the day. But what you can always do to give yourself more bushes is sort of sink plants into the ground like this, and it makes them look a bit like a bush. So you do have a little bit more flexibility on that sense than what you may first be privy to. So just experiment with it, see what comes to mind. Let your creativity run wild, if you will. That's all you can really do, to be honest. Wondering why there was so much litter coming around, then I realized, oh, hang on, I've forgotten to put bins down like a total numpty, so we may as well get that done. There we go. People are actually, as soon as I put that bin in, those guys turned around straight away to sort that out. God, you people are lazy. We should have those two caretakers out and about. Why has no one got a work zone? That's a bit strange. I thought I assigned all the staff to the work zone. Oofed. One of the more difficult parts, I think, of the management side of this game as you go on is definitely the whole idea of having to manage staff and work zones and stuff like that. That's certainly what I'd consider to be the hardest part about this game, in my personal opinion. Anyway, another quick tip, guys, for those who are watching. If you want to ever, make your little, your garden areas, if you will, look absolutely incredible, replace the grass with soil. It's just that little touch. It's something that not a lot of people actually consider doing, I've found, but that small touch just helps to give it that bit of an extra feel, It makes it look like a bit more of a convincing garden. So, as you can see, grass on the wildlife here, if I just go ahead and add the soil over there, it already looks a bit more like a proper garden. Definitely helps to give it that bit of an extra touch. What I might just do here as well, we've got this space to utilize right here that's not really doing a whole lot. I'm just going to go back to tropical and Africa, just to make sure we make use of the right plants here and the animals, the bongos inside don't get a little unhappy with us. We're going to go Africa tropical. We're starting to make more money too now, which is really good as more guests start to make their way into the zoo. I'm going to add a low-lying tree fern. It's quite a large tree fern actually. No, we won't use the tree fern, they're a bit too large. I'm going to add some that, bird's nest. What happened to the animal just then? It just got boxed for some reason. I'll have to go quickly and check that out in a second here. Alright, we're going to do all that, and then we're going to add in a conservation education board. Just as a little something extra, you know. And we'll put in deforestation. I think that's rather fitting for the bongos. And we'll just quickly make sure that's all soiled. Happy days. There we go. Now all we need is some enrichment for our bongos. I definitely set a vet research. Yeah, our vets are researching enrichments for the bongos. And once that's done, we'll get them in now. I'll just quickly finish this area up here and make it look a little bit prettier. Let's get rid of the Africa focus. Alright, there we go. And just in the nick of time... Oh, there's snow. I need to quickly get some heaters in for our animals. We all know that bongos are tropical, and tropical is not what this looks like. We need to unbox him as well. Unbox you. And now I need to quickly sort out heaters for our little bongos, because I don't want them to be cold and unhappy. Alright, now let's quickly see. I think we've got ourselves some vet research. Yes, we do. Lovely. Bongos. So we should now have an enrichment item for them at least. Something that's going to pave the way for them to be a little bit happier. We just go... It's a grazing feeder. Beauty. That'll keep them a bit happier. I'm really happy with this habitat. It's simple, but it gets the job done. It's a nice, simple entranceway, if you will. We definitely need to get that sorted out here. Where's my caretaker? Is that one of them there? Yeah, can I move you? I can. You, down here. Get to work. Sweet. Alright then. He should look at getting that sorted out for us fairly soon, but that looks alright. That's not a bad first exhibit, and not a bad entrance to our, our little Let's Play of Planet Zoo here, guys. So, in the next episode, we will probably by then have our New World theme, which I'm going to make use of in the, in here to sort of build up the main entranceway, but we'll probably also add a second animal. I also want to get probably something like the Komodo dragon out here, out the back of the main entranceway, just as like a sort of an exhibit that guests can come straight back onto as they move into the deeper parts of the zoo, which we'll then utilize for a more safari theme and for, a more of a tropical theme, which I think we're going to apply a tropical theme out here, so we'll have some Indian rhinos and some tigers and stuff out that way. I have a plan, ladies and gentlemen, as the kind man Dutch Vanderlyn in Red Dead Redemption once said, I have a plan, Arthur. Anyway, guys, thank you all for joining me for our first episode of our Planet Zoo Let's Play. Let me know if you have any feedback for the format of the video. I look forward to doing more of these episodes as time goes on, and I'm definitely excited to keep pressing on here with this series. I've wanted to do a Let's Play for a while, and to be honest, I figured Planet Zoo would be the best game for us to do it on, and I'm very happy with how things have started off here. Look at the bongos. Look how happy he looks. He's even got a big old grin on his face. And on that note, guys, we shall end the video on the bongo grinning. So, guys, once again, appreciate you all stopping by. Cannot wait to see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!